Other news now, delivering the 2025 budget vote for science and innovation in Parliament earlier this week, Minister Blade Nzimande highlighted its delivery against the background of a complex set of national and global challenges, some of which include economic stagnation, rising social inequality. He stressed that science, technology and innovation at the center of government, education, industry and society if South Africa is to secure its sovereignty and future stability. Joining us now, to talk about South Africa's needs for greater insurance in prosperity on this front, we're joined by BRICS Ambassador for South Africa, Sir Stuart Ntlathi. Sir Stuart Ntlathi, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the late edition.
Good evening and good evening to your viewers at home. Always a pleasure to join the SABC team.
Indeed, it's an absolute pleasure having you join us this evening. Now, we've seen Minister Blade Nzimande emphasizing South Africa's delivery of science and innovation in initiatives amidst the economic stagnation and rising inequality, as it were. Now, from a BRICS perspective, Mr. Ntlathi, how do you view South Africa's position in responding to this intersecting crises through science and technology?
I think South Africa is still lagging behind. We are still struggling to keep up with the demands of the fourth industrial revolution. The advances in the fourth industrial revolution requires us to have strong policies around the support and implementation of strong budgets on research, development and innovation.
Yeah.
We recently concluded the BRICS summit in Brazil, and at this conclusion, the Science and Technology Steering Committee, or rather the teams that works on the cooperations of science, technology, innovation amongst BRICS plus countries, emphasize a focus on two additional elements that we need to focus on: innovation for industry and, importantly, focuses and advances on cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. Now, when you look at, or rather when you interpret the minister's budget vote, recent budget vote, you then realize that this slight cut in the budget is affecting the implementation and the stabilization of South Africa's relevance in the fourth industrial revolution. So I would say that South Africa is still lagging behind. Look, the budget vote of 2025 is positive. It's one of the best budget votes we've ever had made by the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. However, there's still a lot of missed opportunities, and with a budget cut, it then means that South Africa is not going to be able to compete with the big four of the BRICS bloc. We know obviously that China and Russia are the leaders of all things technology. And then you also have India being the master of technological innovations implementation, especially in the areas of ICT.
Yeah.
So we are still struggling, we are still lagging behind, but hopefully we will get there. And as much as the budget speech had budget cuts and missed opportunities, there is hope. Overall, the presentation by the minister through the budget vote is promising.
Yeah, sure. And the minister placed science and innovation at the heart of safeguarding South Africa's sovereignty and future sustainability. It's quite concerning that you keep reiterating the fact that, there's so many missed opportunities. We are lagging behind. In fact, the previous guest that we had, before this interview is an AI expert saying that South Africa and Africa holistically is lagging behind in terms of riding the wave of artificial intelligence. And having said that, then, what practical steps is South Africa taking or should be taking to translate this vision into tangible outcomes on the ground?
I think strengthening policy implementation, removing bureaucracy in implementation processes, and sampling. I think what we also need to start exploring and what we need to start advancing on is definitely sampling. Artificial intelligence can bring a lot of positive effects and changes in the retail industry, for instance. If we allow this to be implemented on a sampling level, we are then able to have credible data that shows us how far we can go with implementing AI. So I think if we strengthen policy implementation, remove barriers that enables this policy to be implemented, then South Africa stands a far greater chance in not only inspiring other African nations to implement and take advantages of OIR, specifically AI and machine learning, but it stands a chance to become a true global player where science, technology, engineering, and mathematics innovations are concerned.
Indeed, we do stand a chance when it comes to, AI revolution and the evolution. But then there's the issue of social inequality in South Africa. And with the rise of such inequality, Mr. Ntlathi, how can science and innovation be democratized, as it were, to empower marginalized communities, not just as recipients of technology, but as active creators and innovators? And just considering that the Department of Science and Innovation has been positioning innovation as a national development tool, how do you believe this approach can be expanded to strengthen the education system and the future workforce?
I think that can simply be addressed by readdressing basic education. I have said this a few days ago that if we invest in human capital, we are then able to readdress social injustices and inequality issues. If we commit to strengthening the implementation of relevant, necessary, and advanced education curriculum, where the teaching of science, mathematics, and technology at both primary and high school level is advanced and is made interactive and exciting for young people, then automatically we are readdressing a lot of issues. Even when you look at the curriculum of the private sector and that of national government, the gaps are far wide from each other, where the private sector's curriculum continues to become very practical, continues to become very relevant and exciting. I can assure you that if you are delivering a curriculum that is exciting, interesting, and cool and dope in the language of high school kids, then you are going to easily attract young people to retain interest beyond higher education. And as and when this happens, then we are slowly or perhaps rapidly then able to change and balance the challenges around the inequalities experienced in the accessing of technological innovations and benefits. There's so much that AI or other many technologies could be augmented reality, could be system automation, could be literally anything, including cybersecurity, that communities, vulnerable communities that are previously disadvantaged can benefit from. But without a policy that is clear, without a policy that is inspiring, without a policy that is balancing the injustices with access to quality technology, we are not going to win. But if these communities are implementing the advances in the fourth industrial revolution, we can solve a lot of our social problems. The more social problems we solve, including the most stagnant problem we are facing as a country, amongst many other, high rate of crime, economic injustice, and on a very worrying note, GBV crimes or GBV-related crimes, then we are going to lag behind. But there's so many things that we can be able to advance in terms of in terms of making
and I suppose, and just some of the many risks, and just one of the many risks that South Africa faces if it underinvests in science and innovation at this particular juncture. Mr. Ntlathi, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I suppose then the purpose of this discussion was to find the critical gaps, in South Africa's current innovation ecosystem that must be addressed, really, to ensure its alignment with the BRICS, the STI goals by 2030. Joining us was BRICS Ambassador for South Africa, Sir Stuart Ntlathi.